As dusk begins to settle over Constantinople, the city transforms under a soft amber glow from oil lamps lining narrow streets and courtyards. The distant tolling of church bells echoes through the air, their deep tones resonating with each chime. In many monasteries and churches across the sprawling metropolis, golden domes shimmer in the fading light, casting long shadows across stone walls and cobblestone paths. The city was known for its grand architecture, with numerous churches adorned with golden domes that were visible from afar. These domes would often catch the last rays of sunlight as dusk approached, their brilliance a testament to the architectural prowess and wealth of Byzantine society. The light from oil lamps provided illumination after sunset, but not as brightly as modern electric lights might do today. Instead, these small flames cast gentle shadows on stone walls and cobblestone paths, creating an intimate atmosphere that enveloped the streets. As you wander through the city's narrow lanes, the sound of church bells would often ring out, signaling various times or events within Constantinople. The distant tolling resonates through the quiet streets, a soothing reminder of the day's end and the approaching night. The Bosporus Strait, a vital waterway for trade and transportation, lies just beyond the city walls. Its calm surface reflects the changing light of dusk, shimmering with hues of gold and amber as the sun dips below the horizon. The cool evening breeze carries a hint of salt from the nearby strait, mingling with the scent of incense wafting from churches and monasteries. Smooth stones underfoot in the courtyards are worn by centuries of footsteps, each step echoing softly against the ancient stone surfaces. The city's architecture is a blend of grandeur and intimacy, with towering structures alongside cozy courtyards where families may have gathered to share stories and enjoy the evening breeze. As night falls gently over Constantinople, the golden domes atop churches and palaces continue to shimmer in the fading light, their brilliance a serene reminder of the city's enduring beauty. The soft amber glow from oil lamps continues to cast gentle shadows across stone walls and cobblestone paths, enveloping the streets in a tranquil atmosphere that invites rest and contemplation. As the city begins to quiet down further, the sound of footsteps on cobblestone paths fades into a gentle silence. In the dimly lit corridors of grand palaces and modest homes alike, wooden doors creak softly as they are closed for the night. Inside these dwellings, families may have gathered around simple tables made of wood or stone, perhaps sharing meals under the low candlelight. The scent of parchment and ink fills the air in libraries and scriptoria where scholars would often continue their work well into the evening hours, the flickering flames of candles casting dancing shadows on ancient manuscripts. The rhythmic scratching of quills against parchment creates a soothing backdrop to the quiet city outside. In some homes, woolen blankets may have been draped over windows to keep out the cool night air and provide warmth. As the church bells continue their distant tolling, signaling the end of another day, the city's residents might pause for a moment of reflection or prayer. The golden domes, now barely visible in the fading light, shimmer like beacons amidst the darkness, guiding those who wander through the winding streets back to their homes. The cool evening breeze carries with it not only the scent of salt from the Bosporus but also hints of incense and spices that drift from nearby markets. In courtyards where families once gathered during the day, children may have been tucked into beds made of simple straw mattresses or woolen blankets laid out on stone floors. The soft rustling of parchment as a parent reads a bedtime story to their child can be heard faintly in the distance, mingling with the distant tolling of church bells and the gentle lapping of waves against the city walls. As night deepens, the golden domes continue to shimmer like stars fallen from the sky, casting long shadows across the stone walls. The soft amber glow from oil lamps illuminates narrow streets and courtyards, creating an intimate atmosphere that invites rest and contemplation. Under the cool moonlight, Constantinople transforms into a serene sanctuary where the ancient rhythms of life carry on through the night. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across Constantinople's narrow stone streets, the city begins its nightly transformation. Shopkeepers close their wooden shutters with a soft clinking of metal, securing the day's commerce behind them. The air grows cooler as an evening breeze whispers through the cobblestone alleys. Night watchmen begin their rounds, their lanterns casting long shadows in the dim light. They move slowly and steadily, pausing occasionally to check doors and windows for any signs of disturbance. The soft clinking of metal can be heard as a watchman locks his lantern securely, ensuring it will provide steady illumination throughout his patrol. Dim oil lamps flicker along the cobblestone streets, their gentle glow reflecting off the rough texture of stone walls under moonlight. These lamps would often be placed at regular intervals to guide pedestrians and maintain some semblance of order in the darkness. The rhythmic tapping of sandals against the stones is a common sound as people hurry home before nightfall. Families retreat indoors, drawing curtains to shield against the chill of evening. Windows are shuttered tightly, creating an insular environment that protects against both intruders and the cold winds. Inside their homes, residents may gather around hearths or oil lamps, sharing stories and enjoying a quiet reprieve from the day's activities. The cool evening breeze carries whispers of distant church bells, their resonant tones adding to the tranquil atmosphere. These sounds would often serve as a comforting reminder of the city's spiritual life, even in the stillness of night. In many monasteries and churches, monks may continue their nightly vigils, praying quietly in dimly lit chapels. The streets grow increasingly quiet, save for the occasional soft footfall or distant call from one watchman to another. The wooden shutters on buildings help regulate light and protect against intruders, creating a sense of security within the city's walls. As night deepens, the city takes on an almost ethereal quality, with only the faintest glimmers of light piercing the darkness. In this peaceful setting, Constantinople's residents find solace in the quietude of their homes and streets. The city, once bustling with commerce and activity during the day, now offers a serene haven for rest and reflection under the watchful gaze of the moon. As night deepens, the city's corridors and courtyards fall into a profound silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of parchment as someone writes by candlelight. Inside homes, families gather around hearths or oil lamps, sharing stories and tending to simple tasks like weaving woolen garments for the coming winter. The soft crackling of flames adds a comforting rhythm to the evening's quietude. In some quarters, the faint scent of incense drifts through open windows, mingling with the cool night air. This fragrance often accompanies prayers or rituals within monasteries and churches, offering a subtle reminder of the spiritual life that thrives even in the darkest hours. The rhythmic tapping of sandals on stone continues as residents make their way home, seeking refuge from the chill. The wooden doors of homes creak softly under the weight of those entering, sealing out the night's darkness and cold. Inside, the warmth of hearths radiates across rooms, casting flickering shadows that dance along walls adorned with tapestries and icons. These interiors offer a stark contrast to the dimness outside, creating an intimate space where residents can rest and reflect in peace. As dawn approaches, the first light of day begins to pierce the darkness, but for now, it is still the moon's glow that casts its silvery sheen across rooftops and courtyards. The city remains hushed, a tranquil haven under the watchful gaze of the night sky. In this quietude, Constantinople's residents find a peaceful respite from their daily lives, embracing the calm beauty of their surroundings as they prepare for another day to come. As the sun sets over Constantinople, the city begins to quieten down. In homes nestled behind courtyard walls, families gather for their evening meals. The central courtyards of Byzantine dwellings would often serve as a communal space, surrounded by various living quarters where people spent their days and nights. Lamps made from clay or bronze are carefully trimmed, softening the air with a gentle crackle. These simple yet effective light sources cast warm, low light into the interiors, filtering through small windows to create pools of illumination on stone floors and wooden furniture. The courtyard serves as a transitional space, retaining heat from the day's sun, allowing warmth to seep into the living areas even as evening falls. Children settle near woven blankets, their hands smoothing over the soft textures as they prepare for sleep. These textiles would often be made from linen or wool, providing comfort and warmth in the cooler evenings. The air begins to cool slightly, but the lingering heat from the courtyard ensures that the rooms remain comfortably warm throughout the night. The glow of the lamps creates a serene atmosphere, casting long shadows across walls adorned with simple frescoes or tapestries. In many cases, these homes would be sparsely furnished, with wooden chairs and tables arranged around hearths where fires may have been kept burning to maintain warmth during colder months. The sound of footsteps on stone floors echoes softly as family members move about their evening routines. As the night deepens, the courtyard outside becomes a quiet sanctuary, its walls providing privacy from the bustling city beyond. Inside, the gentle hum of conversation and the occasional soft laughter blend with the rhythmic sounds of trimming lamps and settling into restful slumber. The warmth from earlier in the day continues to permeate the air, creating an atmosphere that is both soothing and inviting. In these quiet moments, life within Byzantine homes feels timeless, a peaceful interlude between the bustling activities of daytime and the serene stillness of night. The sound of distant church bells echoes softly through the narrow corridors of the home, their deep tones a comforting reminder of the time-honored traditions that have shaped Byzantine life for centuries. Corridors lined with stone walls stretch out before you, leading to various rooms where family members go about their evening routines. In one corner, a wooden door creaks slightly as it opens, revealing a small alcove filled with parchment scrolls and inkwells. The air here is cooler than in the main living spaces, but still carries the warmth of the day. In another room, a mother sits by the hearth, her hands gently smoothing out woolen blankets laid across wooden furniture. She hums softly as she works, her voice blending with the rhythmic crackle of the lamps and the occasional rustling of parchment being turned over. The flickering light casts shadows that dance along the walls, adding a layer of mystery to the quiet evening. As night deepens further, the courtyard outside becomes even more tranquil. Moonlight begins to filter through the gaps in the courtyard's walls, casting silvery pools of light across the stone floors and creating an ethereal glow. The air cools slightly, carrying with it the faint scent of blooming jasmine from nearby gardens. Inside, The warmth from earlier in the day continues to permeate the rooms, ensuring that even as dawn approaches, the atmosphere remains comfortably warm. In one final room, a child lies on a woven blanket, their small hands tracing patterns across its soft surface. The sound of breathing grows steady and deep, signaling the onset of sleep. Around them, the gentle hum of conversation fades into silence, leaving only the faint crackle of lamps and the occasional distant bell to break the stillness. As dawn approaches, the courtyard begins to fill with a pale light, but within these walls, the warmth from earlier in the day keeps the rooms cozy and inviting. The homes behind courtyard walls are more than just places of shelter, they are sanctuaries where life unfolds at a peaceful pace. Each evening meal, each lamp trimmed, and each blanket smoothed is part of a timeless ritual that connects generations through quiet moments shared together. In the quiet of night, the imperial palace stands as a silent sentinel over the sleeping city. Marble corridors echo with soft footsteps, the guards on patrol moving through the vast grounds with a sense of duty and reverence. Their shadows dance across mosaic walls adorned with intricate depictions of saints and emperors, each tile glowing softly under candlelight. The palace is a hub of activity by night, though it seems still to those outside its walls. Guards would often whisper quietly among themselves as they patrolled the corridors, their voices barely audible in the deep silence that surrounds them. The cool night air carries with it a hint of dampness from nearby water features, adding to the serene atmosphere. Mosaics in Byzantine palaces may have depicted religious scenes and figures to reinforce the divine right of the emperor. These images would often flicker gently under candlelight, casting soft shadows that danced across the walls. The smooth texture of marble beneath foot invites a sense of calm as one walks through these grand halls. Distant sounds from within the palace hint at ongoing rituals that mark the passage of time. Ceremonial silence could be observed during certain rituals or at specific times within the palace walls, adding to the solemnity and reverence felt by those who moved through its corridors. Each step echoes softly against the polished stone floors, a reminder of the grandeur and importance of this ancient seat of power. Outside the palace, the city is largely quiet, with most residents sleeping soundly in their homes. A few essential services may remain active, but for the most part, the streets are empty save for the occasional night watchman or late-night traveler. The moonlight casts a gentle glow over rooftops and courtyards, creating an ethereal landscape bathed in silver light. In this quiet moment, one can almost feel the weight of history pressing down upon them, a sense of awe at the enduring legacy of the Byzantine Empire. The night is a time for reflection, for dreams to take flight under the watchful gaze of ancient walls and timeless mosaics. The palace grounds are vast and sprawling, with each corner holding its own secrets and stories. The cool night air carries a faint scent of jasmine from distant gardens, mingling with the dampness from nearby fountains. Wooden doors creak softly as they swing open to reveal dimly lit chambers where parchment scrolls lie scattered across desks, their edges curling slightly from age. In some rooms, figures wrapped in woolen cloaks sit hunched over these parchments by candlelight, their breaths visible in the chilly air. The soft flicker of candles casts long shadows that dance along the walls, creating an ever-changing tapestry of light and dark. These scholars and scribes would often work late into the night, preserving knowledge and recording events with meticulous care. As one wanders deeper into the palace, the sound of distant bells can be heard, marking the passage of time in a steady rhythm. The chimes resonate through the corridors, adding to the sense of calm and order that permeates the imperial residence. Occasionally, the soft rustle of fabric or the gentle murmur of conversation might break the silence, but these sounds are fleeting, soon swallowed by the quietude that envelopes the palace. Outside, the city is a tapestry of rooftops and courtyards bathed in moonlight. The silver glow casts long shadows across cobblestone streets, creating an ethereal landscape where everything seems to pause in time. Here and there, a flickering lantern might be glimpsed through a window, casting a warm light that contrasts with the cool night air. The dawn approaches slowly, bringing with it a softening of the moonlight as the first hints of morning begin to paint the sky. The palace corridors grow even more still, save for the occasional guard making their rounds in preparation for the day ahead. The mosaics on the walls shimmer gently under the changing light, their colors blending and shifting as the world outside begins to stir. In this quiet moment, one can almost feel the weight of history pressing down upon them, a sense of awe at the enduring legacy of the Byzantine Empire. The night is a time for reflection, for dreams to take flight under the watchful gaze of ancient walls and timeless mosaics. Under the cloak of night, Hagia Sophia stands as a silent sentinel over Byzantine Constantinople. The vast interior of this grand church is dimly lit by flickering oil lamps, casting a warm yet gentle glow across the space. These ancient lamps would often be placed strategically throughout the nave and aisles, their soft light reflecting off the polished marble floors and columns. The golden mosaics that adorn the walls are illuminated by these flickers of flame, creating an ethereal ambience within the church. The figures depicted in these mosaics may have included saints, emperors, and divine scenes, all contributing to a spiritual atmosphere that would often envelop visitors as they moved through the space. Incense was commonly used in Byzantine churches during prayer services, filling the air with its aromatic scent. As evening prayers concluded, the lingering aroma of incense would still permeate the church, mingling with the cool, slightly damp air that seeped in from outside. This subtle fragrance may have helped to create a tranquil environment conducive to contemplation and meditation. The soft murmur of faint chants could often be heard echoing through the empty halls, carried by the acoustics of the domes and arches. These gentle sounds would add another layer of serenity to the already quiet space, blending with the occasional sound of footsteps or distant chanting that might still resonate within the church. Walking along the cool stone floors underfoot, one may have felt the smooth texture of marble beneath their feet, contrasting with the warm, polished surfaces of the columns and walls. The air inside Hagia Sophia would often be filled with a sense of calm, as if the very atmosphere itself was imbued with a peaceful energy. During these quiet hours, the church would likely remain relatively empty, save for perhaps a few late-night worshippers or caretakers who may have been moving about in the shadows. The dim light from the oil lamps would cast long shadows across the walls and ceiling, adding to the mysterious yet comforting ambience of this sacred space. In many monasteries and churches throughout Byzantium, such quiet moments were often cherished as times for reflection and solitude. As night fell over Hagia Sophia, it may have been a place where one could find solace in the dimly lit sanctuary, surrounded by the timeless beauty of its architecture and artistry. As the night deepens, a soft breeze might drift through the open windows of Hagia Sophia, carrying with it the faint rustle of parchment and the gentle creaking of wooden doors. The cool air would mingle with the lingering scent of incense, creating an almost tangible aura that envelopes the space. In the dim light, the intricate patterns on the stone walls seem to dance slightly, as if brought to life by the subtle movements of the shadows. The corridors leading away from the main nave are quiet and shadowy, their cool stone floors reflecting the faint glow of distant oil lamps. These passages would often be used by monks or caretakers who moved about in the night, their footsteps muffled by the soft woolen cloaks they wore. Occasionally, a low murmur might break through the silence as someone whispered prayers or read from ancient texts. The vast expanse of Hagia Sophia's interior is almost entirely silent now, save for the occasional distant tolling of bells that echoes faintly from the nearby towers. This sound would often serve to remind those within the church of the passage of time and the presence of divine watchfulness. As dawn begins to approach, a soft wash of moonlight might filter through the high windows, casting an ethereal glow across the golden mosaics. In this quiet sanctuary, one could almost feel the weight of centuries of history pressing down upon them, yet it was also a place where peace and reflection were deeply cherished. The cool stone floors beneath the feet would offer a stark contrast to the warm, polished surfaces of the columns and walls, creating an interesting sensory experience that invited contemplation. The air inside Hagia Sophia during these quiet hours would often carry with it the faintest whisper of moonlight, mingling with the lingering incense and cool night breeze. This subtle blend of sensations would create a tranquil environment where one could easily lose themselves in thought or prayer, finding solace in the timeless beauty that surrounded them. Under the silvery glow of the moon, the harbor of Constantinople transforms into a serene tableau. Ships often docked at night to avoid the bustling daylight traffic and the oppressive heat that could mar their journeys. As the sun sets, the soft creaking sounds of ropes and wooden planks echo through the air, each creak a gentle reminder of the ships resting against the docks. Merchants from distant provinces may have stayed close to their goods for security reasons, ensuring that valuable cargoes remained safe under the watchful eye of the moon. The harbor was a hub of activity, with vessels arriving from various parts of the Byzantine Empire and beyond, each carrying its own stories across the waves. The night air is cool, carrying a subtle hint of salt from the sea, mingling with the earthy scent of stone docks and wooden hulls. Smooth textures of ship hulls contrast with the rougher surfaces of the docks, where crates and barrels are stacked in neat rows, their shadows elongated by the moonlight. Glimmering reflections dance across the water's surface, casting an ethereal light on the docks and nearby structures. Lanterns flickered gently in the night breeze, providing a warm glow that contrasts with the coolness of the evening. These lanterns were commonly used as the primary source of light at night, their soft flames illuminating small areas around them. As you drift through this tranquil scene, imagine the quiet sounds of the harbor, a gentle lapping of water against wooden planks, the occasional murmur of a sailor settling in for rest, and the distant calls of night birds. The world seems to slow down under the moon's watchful gaze, creating an atmosphere that invites peace and reflection. In this calm and serene setting, the harbor beneath the moon offers a momentary escape from the hustle and bustle of daily life, allowing one to appreciate the quiet beauty of the Byzantine Empire at night. The harbor's tranquility is further enhanced by the distant sounds of night bells ringing softly from nearby churches and monasteries. These gentle chimes carry through the night air, adding a layer of serenity to the already peaceful scene. The stone corridors that lead deeper into the city are quiet, their rough surfaces reflecting the soft moonlight filtering in from open doorways. In these dimly lit passages, one might hear the occasional rustle of parchment as clerks and scribes tend to their duties late into the night. Woolen cloaks and tunics brush against stone walls, creating a faint whispering sound that adds to the atmosphere of quiet contemplation. The smell of incense from nearby chapels mixes with the earthy scent of the harbor, filling the air with a subtle aroma that invites calmness. As you drift deeper into this serene setting, imagine the cool night breeze gently brushing against your skin, carrying with it the faintest hint of dawn's approaching light. The wooden doors of buildings along the docks creak softly as they are opened and closed by weary sailors returning to their quarters for rest. Each door groans slightly under the weight of its history, a reminder of countless nights like this one. The harbor itself is alive with subtle movements, even in sleep. Small waves lap gently against the stone edges, creating a soothing rhythm that echoes through the stillness. The occasional splash of a fish breaking the surface adds to the tranquil soundscape, blending seamlessly into the night's melody. Lanterns flicker intermittently, casting shadows that dance across the water and docks, their soft light enveloping everything in an ethereal glow. In this quiet moment, the harbor seems to hold its breath, waiting for the first rays of dawn to break the moonlit night. The world is hushed under the watchful gaze of the full moon, offering a glimpse into the timeless beauty of the Byzantine Empire's nighttime tranquility. Under the low glow of a solitary torch, a lone watchman patrols the towering walls of Constantinople. The night is calm and quiet, with only the distant sounds of the city below breaking the silence. He scans the dark roads and fields beyond, his movements slow and deliberate, ensuring the safety of those who sleep within the city's fortified embrace. The watchman's path winds along the battlements, where stone meets sky in a seamless expanse. The walls of Constantinople were known for their immense height and thickness, providing a formidable barrier against potential threats. Watchmen would often patrol these walls to guard against such dangers during the night. His footsteps echo softly on the stone, accompanied by occasional calls from fellow watchmen stationed at nearby towers. A faint glow from torches casts long shadows across the walls and ground below, illuminating parts of the wall and signaling other guards. The rough texture of stone underfoot is a constant reminder of the ancient craftsmanship that has stood for centuries. As he walks along the battlements, the cool night breeze carries whispers of the city's quiet life, sounds of distant conversations, perhaps the occasional clink of metal from a nearby forge. The watchman's gaze drifts across the dark landscape beyond the walls. In many cases, these nightly patrols were not just about guarding against immediate threats but also maintaining vigilance over the vast expanse that surrounded the city. The layout of Constantinople allowed for strategic positioning of watchtowers and patrols, ensuring no blind spots existed where intruders might slip through unnoticed. The night is a quiet sentinel, its stillness broken only by the distant sounds of footsteps and the occasional call from another guard. Each patrol is a ritual of sorts, a silent dance between man and stone under the watchful eye of the moon. The watchman's presence here serves as a reassuring reminder that safety lies within these fortified walls. As he continues his rounds, the night remains calm, a testament to the effectiveness of such measures over centuries. His duty is both simple and profound, guarding not just against threats but also ensuring peace for those who rest safely behind the city's defenses. The torchlight flickers gently, casting shadows that dance across the ancient stones, a quiet symphony of light and shadow in the stillness of the night. In this tranquil setting, the watchman's vigil is a solemn act of protection, a silent guardian in the darkness, ensuring that peace reigns within the walls of Constantinople. The watchman pauses momentarily at one of the many narrow corridors that lead to different sections of the walls. Here, the torchlight flickers gently against the ancient stones, casting dancing shadows on the rough-hewn surfaces. The cool night air carries a faint scent of parchment and wool from within the city, reminders of the lives being lived behind these protective barriers. He listens intently for any unusual sounds but hears only the distant clinking of metal as workers in nearby workshops continue their labors late into the night. Occasionally, the soft chime of church bells echoes through the air, marking the passage of time and calling to those who might still be awake within the city's embrace. As he continues his patrol, the watchman passes by a wooden door leading to one of the many guard towers. The wood is worn smooth from years of use, its surface cool under his touch as he opens it slightly to check inside. Inside, another watchman sits quietly at a small desk, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon through the narrow slit windows that allow light and air but not intruders. The night outside remains calm, with only the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze breaking the silence. The moonlight casts a silvery glow over the battlements, illuminating the intricate patterns etched into the stone by centuries of wind and weather. As dawn approaches, the first hints of light begin to appear on the horizon, signaling the end of his watch. With each step, the watchman's movements become more deliberate, almost ritualistic, as he completes his rounds one final time before returning to his own quarters for a short rest. The torchlight continues to flicker gently, its warmth contrasting with the cool night air that surrounds him. His vigil has been both simple and profound, ensuring peace within the walls of Constantinople until the next watchman takes over. As he reaches the end of his patrol, the first rays of dawn begin to paint the sky in soft hues of pink and orange, a quiet reminder that another peaceful night has passed under his careful guard. As the first light begins to paint the sky in pale blue hues, Constantinople slowly stirs from its nocturnal slumber. The city's architecture, with its narrow streets and towering rooftops, allows for a gradual awakening as the light spreads from one neighborhood to another. Soft murmurs can be heard from bakeries where bakers would often start their day well before dawn. They tend to their ovens, ensuring that fresh bread will be available in the markets by morning. The warm, slightly smoky air carries with it the scent of freshly baked loaves, mingling with the cooler temperatures as dawn approaches. Faint smoke rises from chimneys throughout the city, indicating activity within homes and bakeries. In nearby churches, priests may have begun their preparations for early morning services, adhering to strict schedules that would see them praying at the first light of day. The pale blue light filters through narrow streets and rooftops, casting long shadows as it gradually brightens. The air is cool but begins to warm as the sun ascends in the sky. In courtyards and along riverbanks, one can almost hear the faint sounds of early morning activities, perhaps a bucket being filled with water or the creaking of wooden doors opening. The city's layout allows for a peaceful transition from night to day, with each neighborhood awakening at its own pace. The soft murmurs of bakers tending their ovens blend seamlessly with the quiet stirrings of other early risers. As the first light continues to spread, the city begins to take on a new life, readying itself for another day in the Byzantine Empire. In many monasteries and churches throughout Constantinople, priests may have prepared for morning prayers, their voices echoing softly through the hallowed halls as they recited ancient texts. The gentle sounds of prayer and preparation create an atmosphere of calmness and reflection, setting a tone for the day ahead. The cool air gradually warms under the pale blue sky, carrying with it the promise of a new day filled with activity and life. As dawn approaches fully, Constantinople awakens in its own quiet way, ready to embrace another chapter in its storied history. As the first light continues to spread across the city, the stone walls of Constantinople begin to warm under the pale blue sky. In dimly lit corridors within monasteries and churches, priests move quietly, their steps barely audible on the cool stone floors. They prepare for morning prayers, perhaps lighting candles that flicker softly in the gentle breeze from open windows. The air carries a faint scent of parchment and ink as monks sit at wooden desks, readying ancient texts for the day's readings. The soft rustle of pages turning is accompanied by occasional whispers, as they discuss the scriptures with their peers. In the courtyards outside, one might see figures dressed in woolen cloaks moving slowly, perhaps fetching water from wells or tending to gardens. The cool air still lingers, carrying a hint of night's chill, but it gradually warms as the sun ascends higher into the sky. The distant sound of church bells can be heard, their tones echoing softly through the narrow streets and courtyards. These gentle sounds signal the beginning of another day in Constantinople. In homes throughout the city, families may have begun to stir from their restful slumber. Soft murmurs and the creaking of wooden doors opening as they prepare for the day ahead can be heard. The faint light filters through small windows, casting long shadows across rooms filled with simple furniture made of wood and woven fabrics. The riverbanks near the city offer a peaceful sight during this early hour. Wooden boats may begin to drift along the water's surface, their oars dipping gently into the cool morning waters. Along the banks, figures can be seen walking or sitting quietly, perhaps fishing or simply enjoying the tranquility of dawn. As the first light fully illuminates the city, a sense of calm and serenity permeates Constantinople. Each neighborhood awakens at its own pace, blending seamlessly with the others as the day begins to unfold. The soft sounds of early morning activities, wooden doors creaking, whispers from monk studies, and faint church bells, create an atmosphere of quiet reflection and readiness for another chapter in the city's storied history.